I asked AI what abilities needed to be added to Season of Discovery before the level 40 cap. I asked AI, put it into ChatGPT, gave it a few responses, and it came out with a list of 10 new abilities that should be added for Season of Discovery, more specifically at the Warrior class. So, if you're any other class, I recommend maybe doing this yourself and checking it out if you want, or if you want to see me do this for another class, please let me know in the comments. But for today, we're going to specifically focus on Warriors to really test what abilities the AI can come up with to expand the Warrior class for level 40 going into the next patch, which I believe will be coming out in early February. So, to start us all off, I went into AI and I said, if you could add any abilities to improve warrior classes in classic World of Warcraft, what abilities would you give? Give me at least 10. And then it kind of misinterpreted my question, and it gave me how to improve certain abilities in warriors. For example, Rend Armor, which is basically just Sunder Armor with a different name, and Shield Wall, which already exists. So then I had to recalibrate what the AI was saying, and I said, please give me abilities that are not in the game already. So this ended up giving us some really cool abilities. So make sure to check out all 10 of these that dropped. I would say there's about 3 or 4 or 5 that were really good, and I think actually could be something that be looked into for adding runes into Season of Discovery. Let's get into it. This then clicked in the AI, and we came up with the first one, which was none other than Temporal Parry. And it first said, a reactive ability that allows the warrior to briefly enter a state of Temporalstasis, avoiding all incoming damage for a short duration. I think this is an interesting ability. However, it would definitely need a cooldown, so I don't know how well it would work with a rune. But this is something interesting that could be added to the game. You know, you click it, and you're able to dodge, almost like an evasive for rogues, which could be an interesting one implemented into the game for these classes. The second thing that came up was Thunderous Rage, and the warrior unleashes a powerful roar that disorients and interrupts enemies in a cone in front of the warrior, providing a crowd control utility. I think this could be really interesting, almost like a cone of cold of some sort. The warrior turns around and blasts a charging ability that roars and cancels out any ongoing abilities. This would be great for tanks. Again, another great tank ability to kind of stop all CC abilities that might be going out in a giant horde or pull that you have done in a raid or a dungeon. This is something. Next up, I think this might be one of the better ones on this list for a new warrior ability that could be introduced into Season of Discovery at level 40. This one is none other than Magnetic Pull. Magnetic Pull draws an enemy towards the warrior, clustering them together for an easier AoE attack or crowd control. So let's say you're in a dungeon and the boss has decided to run away. You can now almost use this as a taunt. You pull the enemy away from where they are, and they come back to you, and now you can start attacking them once again without having to charge or use an ability or that sort of thing. So, Magnetic Pull, this could be something interesting. Instead, it's almost like the opposite charge. It's like the reverse charge effect, the Uno reverse. I think this is something that could be really interesting in a Season of Discovery for level 40 for warriors. Something that could be explored and added on and introduced into the game later on. Next up, again, this might be a top one that I read, Adrenaline Rush. I think this could be a really cool ability that gets added into the game. A temporary increase in warrior attack speed with critical strike chance when missing health. So the more health you're missing, the more attack speed and critical strike chance you engage in. This would be really great because warriors are always known for having not really great healing abilities and always kind of being lower in health than the rest of the people in the game because they have no mana and they're always just trying to deal more damage than the opponent that they're fighting. So you take more damage, you start dealing more damage. Right? You take more damage, you start dealing more crit chance. And it basically just gives you a higher chance to kill these enemies when you're maybe at a lower health advantage. Adrenaline Rush. I think this could be a great ability added into the game. It could just be a passive one. Great for a rune discovery. Great for a rune in your slot item. This could easily go on like your legs. I think this is an easy, great one that could be easily implemented to the game. Something that maybe they could look into if Blizzard is watching this video. You never know. Next up, the one the AI came up with was Berserkers Reckoning. This marks a target, causing the warrior's attack to deal additional damage based on the target's missing health. The effect intensifies as the target's health decrease. So basically it's saying that the warrior will deal more damage as the target's health decreases. Maybe this is something that's only effective in Berserker stance, considering the name is Berserker's Reckoning. I think this is a really cool ability, right? The target starts dealing more damage as the warrior gets low. Again, a great thing for tanks and things like that to keep up threat and things like that when doing raids or dungeons or whatever. The seventh thing AI determined and thought would be a good implement for Season of Discovery is Blade Dance. Blade Dance initiates a series of quick, sweeping strikes, hitting multiple enemies in a circular area around the world. So this is like a sweeping strikes, but it's quicker, I guess. So maybe if there's a circular area around the world, almost like whirlwind a little bit, you use sweeping strikes. This would be another good one. So it has to be using with sweeping strikes, and it can hit, because sweeping strikes can only hit more than one person. So this is saying if it's a circle around it, you could hit maybe 4 or 5 people at once, almost like a cleave a little bit. Now into the last 3 abilities, we have a fortitude stance, a new stance added. It's like an improved defensive stance, right? The warrior enters a defensive stance that reduces incoming crowd control effects and increases the warrior resistance to debuffs. Now, this would be a very specific rune, but it could implement well and be used in raids as well. So maybe there's a raid with a lot of CC and a lot of debuff needed, and you have a warrior tank needed for this raid, and you have fortitude stance, and you have to use fortitude stance, otherwise the rune and the raid is no longer effective. I think this could be a really interesting one for another added stance for warriors. And yeah, I think this could be a great rune. So I'd say so far, Fortitude Stance, Magnetic Pull, and Adrenaline Rush seem to be the most idealistic ones for runes for Season of Discovery. Into the last thing the AI produced for us for Season of Discovery runes to be added for the Warrior class. Again, let me know if you want me to put in other classes. I will put that in, and we can do a video on that. I could do Rogues, I could do Hunters, I could do Paladins, so on, so on. Number 10, Molten Weaponry. Temporary imbues the warrior's weapon with molten energy, causing each successful attack to deal an additional fire damage over time. Again, another interesting rune. It's almost just like it's got fire fury on it. I'd say the biggest ones for me out of all this list is Thunder Roar, Magnetic Pull, Adrenaline Rush, Blade Dance, Fortitude Stance, and Warrior's Grasp. I think those were the main 5 I did. Thank you, boys, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this, I am live 8 p.m. on twitch.tv, Korean Standard Time. I am in Korea right now, every day except for Sundays. So if you want to pop in and say hi and tell me your thoughts on the video or any opinions you might have, you might want to express to me, things you disagree with or agree with, you can come do that on my Twitch channel. I am live every day, 8 p.m. Korean Standard Time for about 3 to 4 hours. So thank you, boys, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video on WoW Season of Discoveries level 40 caps. If you have any cool ideas for warriors or abilities that you want to see implemented to the game, let me know and express it down below, and I will give my thoughts and feedbacks on that. So thank you, boys, for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you boys on the next one. Your boys out. I'll be live tomorrow or tonight. I hope you guys have a good one. Peace out, lads.